Certification of compliance with open meeting law. Roll call.
Call.
Here.
Ratzit.
Here.
Natrop.
Here.
Approve minutes from May 9th, 2022 town board meeting and the May 17th, 2022 special town board meeting.
I reviewed them and I move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the May 9th, 22 town board meeting and the May 17th, 2022 special town board meeting. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No. Motion carried. Public comment?
No, I gotta approve the bills. I missed that.
Oh, approve the bills.
Yeah. So We Energies street lighting, it was $56.82. We had to do a type E notice for the spring election, which is about absentee voting, and that was $37.09. There was a quarterly report to the U.S. Treasury of $195.75. The law firm was $945. Jefferson County Clerk, which was machine maintenance for the spring election, was $646. I took a class through UW-Madison on liquor licenses, and that cost $20. We Energies by the airport was $170.11. We had a second We Energies street lighting was $56.29. Badgerland disposal was $6,662.46 for garbage and $3,040.18 for recycling. CenturyLink was $111.93. We had 8 fire signs and posts through Lang Enterprises. That was $285.44. Our yearly fee for our IT support, $660. We put 3 ads in the paper for this meeting tonight for the liquor license. That was $160.98. I filled out a form for Jefferson County Treasurer for the dog license fees. That was $356.50. Northwest Services, we had 3 invoices of a total of $7,044. Jefferson County Clerk, we owed them $285.74. They did some programming for the election, and they do some of our publications for us, as well as other municipalities. Jefferson County Land Office, we owed them $6.50 for a list of town residents for a mailing that we did. The Village of Palmyra, we paid our third quarter 2022 fire and EMS bill, which was $27,037.50. Cause salary was $269.40. Brat's salary was $230.87. Natrop salary was $230.87, and Lowry salary was $2,539.62.
Move to approve the bills.
What's a roll call?
Roll call vote.
Paul?
Aye.
Bradshaw? Natrop?
Aye.
Public comment?
Nobody?
Nobody signed.
Okay.
Reports, treasurer.
In the general fund, we have $696,015.47. The tax account, we had $248,934.52. In the LGIP general was $108,718.42. The LGIP fire and EMS was $2.69. The airport was $79,406.82, and the LGIP airport was 55 cents. And I will file that.
Highway.
Normally don't write notes, but I got notes on this one. On the South Shore Drive where the manhole cover is, the manhole cover is upside down in the chute. So we're gonna go tomorrow and or hopefully tomorrow, pry it up, flip it around the correct direction and put it back down on the manhole. We did do the asphalting there, so that's all done. And then on your gravel roads, me and you had already talked about these, but V-Tents, fish hatchery, what's that, Darwin?
Down Lane, and you talked about Down Lane and Kellam
And
Lane.
then, Kellen,
Yeah,
Lane off of Island,
yep,
all those need repair.
okay.
So we're gonna do two, the only one we added on was that, B10.
Beaton's Road,
Because when we were out there
which is
asphalting that.
parts of that, right?
Yeah, it's just, as you get to the end straight, it goes to Collins Truck Repair,
Right,
and then it goes to the right.
Right.
After you go to the right, that is really truly bad there, because when we did the trees last year,
yeah.
it was horrible, so. So we're gonna take care of that, and then on
There's
the
only
speed.
one residence there, so don't waste
Right.
too much money on it.
Right, yeah, I get that.
Get it, make it drivable.
Yep, yep.
It
And
should
then-
last quite a while, there's no trucks going in there, if you do it, it should
Right,
last
yep.
years, right?
Yeah, it shouldn't punch out or anything, no.
Yeah, okay,
And then, I got, Carlin Trail, we did do those two,
Patches.
layovers on
Oh.
both sides, and we did that patch, we dug down like 2.5 feet, and we were still in muck. So
okay.
we just made a great big giant plug. I mean, there would be no need to go any deeper, because we would have to just make the hole bigger.
2.5 feet should pull.
Oh, yeah, they'll hold. And then, both, I know we already talked about Hooper, but I think on Carlin Trail, while we were there, a lot of big trucks put on that road, must be because of those couple industrial buildings, now that they can't go up past Pal Steel.
Okay,
A lot of trucks are hitting the trees, and it needs to be open anyway, because during the
maybe
winter.
if they're hitting the trees, they'll quit going there. They're
Well,
not supposed to be on there.
That's true, the only reason I mention it is because we've had buses off there during the winter, and
Okay.
we salted
Yeah, it's gotta
sand.
be passable for the bus. I
So-
don't, maybe we'll have to think about doing something about if there's too many trucks on there.
Right, maybe put up a sign, but I was thinking that we should do the aerial just to open up the road so sunlight can get down to it, because that is we just salt the heck out of that thing, and we still, we
Yeah.
can't keep up with it.
Yeah. Does Brian work on that pretty good? That doesn't need sun, does it?
Well, no, it doesn't need sun because it's already activated, but once it melts it, like the up and down the hills there and the turns,
Okay.
we've had 2 buses go off there in the last 2 years, so we just figured that might be the time to do it.
Okay.
On Island Road, we have those dead trees we've talked about right by the power and in the easement,
Right,
right by Keller's place. On Brown, a guy came out on Brown Road, that's the one that's off of Pine,
right.
and they do have a big split tree right down the middle at the very end, that if it fell, it'd walk off.
That's only, what you said, 18 inches? Or?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, so, I was gonna take care of that, and then when do you wanna start roadside mowing?
Whenever you have time.
Okay, so just start on it when we get it.
Start on it when you get everything caught up, you got staff available, got it?
Yep, yeah, we should be able to start on it probably either the end of this week or first of
Okay,
next week.
when you can get to it.
Okay, that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, I wanted to mention that we have flashing railroad crossing sign on Marsh Road now with gates,
Oh, wow,
so
yeah,
it was supposed to be,
Wheel gets the grease.
yeah, it was supposed to be like 4 years, but we got a hold of Tammy Baldwin and we got it done like quicker.
Well, there was money in the bipartisan, in that bipartisan infrastructure plan that came out, and so we were able to get on the list a little quicker.
yep, and I did remove all the blind ones. They're all back at my, storage,
Okay.
and I'll put them back out.
There are gonna be twice as many trains and they're gonna be going at 45 miles an hour even through the village.
Yeah.
That's why they reduced the number of the crossings in the village.
Mhm.
And
So-
blocked off Woodland Road. You know,
Yeah, and we closed Lowland, if so.
How about the flashing light bike? Did you move the flashing speed light yet?
No, I talked to Dick about that
Oh, okay.
earlier. The town has the key in the
Oh.
paperwork
Okay.
for doing those. So somewhere, I don't know if Ed has it.
It should be
Probably
in
in the office.
should be in the office.
Yeah, if somebody wants to dig that out and give it to me, yeah, we'll do it as soon as we have the paperwork.
We'll look for it.
Pardon?
We will look for it.
Yeah, if you got it,
Otherwise, I'll send you a drill.
well, yeah, if you got it, if you would bring it to your house, I'll just pick it up from
Okay.
your place.
I'll look at it, I'll look for it tonight,
Okay,
okay?
sounds good.
Thank you.
Oh, what about weight limit signs? Because I'm removing weight limit signs for other towns. Didn't we put up weight limits on,
I think
There.
it just says Class B highway.
Well, but there's one on Fair that says 10,000 limit. I think we just leave it
That
there.
one has to stay because of the culvert there.
okay, I
No,
didn't know, because I know other towns are having me pull them up, so I just.
just
didn't know if
leave
you
them
guys-
all up, but we're gonna be buying more.
Okay,
ones that just say Class B weight limits enforced don't have to come off, because that's only effective in the, you know, in the spring.
It's all there.
I mean, it lowers in the spring.
There's
Yeah, but
seasonal.
does it have a date on it? Because if it doesn't have a time on the sign, which I don't think there's do,
No,
No,
then you need to pull them in the summer, because otherwise it's basically, any trucker will say, well, you know, those have been up always.
well, we have an ordinance though that Class B is permanent.
Okay,
yeah.
okay, cool.
It's all the time on town roads. We have an ordinance.
Okay,
And I think that potentially what saved Zion Road, because the 1,400 trucks that haul the chicken compost and all that material were limited to 60,000 pounds, and I had the county sheriff out there weighing the trucks.
yep.
And by having a route going down and exiting a different way, most of the trucks went down the middle of the road, and I think minimal amount of damage was done.
Yeah, it was really not much worse than it's normal, but.
No, and there had been a bunch of wedging done and that, there had been some maintenance on the road, but the fact that we kept the trucks, most of them going down the middle and that, and we had the weight limits, that like potentially saved us quite a bit of money, but.
That's all I have.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm working with Tyson Barnes from Jefferson County for the air brake signs.
Okay.
We put up, and special requirements for Highway 59 and 106, and then we'll determine where we should put the other signs, but I'm
Okay.
working with it.
Thank you. Fire department.
Nothing except that I think everybody knows we met with the village last Thursday night, the fire and EMS committee and the town board, and we're going to get a list of things to them that we would like to see in a contract and see what they do. I guess they talking about it at their meeting on the 20th as a group, so in the village and you go to their meeting, I assume they'll talk about it.
We're each gonna make a list of
Well, I
things.
think we already have it pretty much done, so.
Okay. We
Committee.
have made,
Pete and I
the
did.
committee has made a list, we have a list for
Only
them.
me and Pete, so, anyway,
Okay, that's it?
that's all I know.
Okay. Airport, no report. They are gonna be starting on retention ponds, and there's a expanded program to do more of them while they have all the equipment here. And by doing the retention ponds, it will reduce the amount of stormwater runoff the village has been charging from about 10 or 11,000 down to about 5,000. And it's all paid for by grant money.
Is that what those flags are for?
I assume that that's what those flags are. They're doing the surveying for that. And then at the same time, they'll be doing some surveying and work, pre-construction work for the airplane hangar, the new hangar the town's putting up. That's going to be up next year. So, Blue Spring Lake District.
Your meeting is the 23rd, right, Dick?
Yes, we have a board meeting the 23rd, and at that board meeting, we'll be discussing what our recommendation from that board will be to the town board regarding ATV, UTV, access around Blue Spring Lake. We've been getting some comments. They're frankly all over the map.
They're what?
Keep them closed, open them up completely, 15-mile-an-hour speed limit, so forth, so.
Yeah, I didn't get them too.
Let's come up with a consensus. I think the 15 mile an hour is good.
Well, we're not doing it tonight.
I know we're not
They're-
doing
they're
that, just
making a
a,
decision in
just
time
a
for us.
comment, right? I particularly like the keeping the speed low, but whatever. Is that it?
Yep.
Building inspector.
We had one building inspection and one electrical inspection for $50.60.
Emergency management plan.
Nothing really, except the county is having a meeting next week, next week, and I'll send them on that, and, we are gonna have to find a different place to store the results of storm damage, and we only do it for town stuff, like if we had a tornado come through and it takes down trees on the road. This doesn't cover personal property, that's a totally different deal, but, we have to have some kind of a place located, specified that we would go to with storm debris.
I wonder if the Bureau of Aeronautics, there's quite a bit of area
I think
there
we need to ask.
that at the next airport meeting, I will have somebody contact the Bureau, see if we can just store stuff there, because
Plenty of space.
there's probably 40 acres that are not in that fly zone.
Okay.
So there's 30 acres of cropland, and then there's another like 10 where there's dirt stored, and there's like a lot going there.
We're trying to do good, it's pretty centrally located too.
Correct, yeah.
And, you know, we haven't done a lot of use the place all in 106, but that relic gets operating, I don't think we can get it there, so.
No. Correspondence?
Nothing.
New business, discussion, possible action concerning garbage and recycling contract with Badgerland Disposal.
We have a special guest.
And we have a special guest.
Hi, board. I'm not that special, but I am a guest. I just wanted to call you.
Everyone that comes to these meetings is special.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm Susan Melnanger. I'm your municipal manager for everything at Badgerland, also known as LRS, that fun little car out there, the new trucks that service your town. Probably not your carts, because when you guys signed, we're still working as Badgerland, which we still are. We're still like a Badgerland and LRS company. So LRS is the corporate company based out of Morton Grove, now Rosemont, Illinois. But basically all that means to you is, our employees have good benefits, and there's the good equipment, and there's more money if I want to sign up more people. We just need a few more drivers, right? So I just wanted to come in and say hello. I don't know if you guys have the renewal in front of you. Does everybody have copies? of it?
No, I didn't get that. I forgot to print that out.
Do you want a copy?
Yeah.
It's a 2-pager. So basically, you guys originally signed a 5-year agreement that's coming up at the end of this year. I like to make sure everything's going well, see what corporate can do as far as keeping your rates the same. They actually agreed to keep you guys at the same rate for 23 and 24, 3% increase for the last 3 years of this renewal extension. We don't have to rewrite the entire contract, we can just write an extension. The only excitement is the fuel charge, right, with everything going on in the world. There's a fuel charge / rebate based on what's happening with the diesel fuel prices. God willing, it'll get better by the end of the year.
It'll get better sometime.
At some time in our lifetime, that'll be good.
In our lifetime.
Always does.
So how are things? Do you guys have any questions for me? I don't really have a presentation and stuff. I just like to say hello, see how things are going, see what your thoughts are on renewing.
I haven't heard of any complaints.
We have a lot fewer complaints than we have had in the past with other carriers.
Good to hear.
And I'm sure it's not because people quit complaining, it's just that they've been given fewer reasons.
No news is good news typically in the trash business. So I came from the commercial side of advanced disposal, and I left for a few years and waste management took over. I came back to work for these guys because these are all the managers that I know and are great people, right? A job's a job unless you like the people. So this is something I'm proud of because all of our drivers are local folks. You guys get serviced out of somewhere between Milton and Ixonia, and probably have the same drivers and the trash and recycle for most of your 5 years, which is pretty amazing. So whatever your thoughts are as far as renewal, you guys can let me know. You can sign the piece of paper tonight.
Nice try.
Sullivan did last week, right on the spot.
Really?
Yeah. They're like, we love you, let's just sign and be done.
Apparently they love you more than we do. We do love you.
Good. So what is your plan for making a decision moving forward? When should I check back with you guys?
I would say August, because we have to look at our budgeting.
We have to look at the
Pretty soon
budgeting.
Start looking at budgeting and
Perfect.
We can have you on the agenda for August. How soon would you like the contract signed? I know it's going until the end of the year.
I have 4 renewals coming up in this area. I also
Okay.
cover the Austin, and we've kind of expanded. I just like to use the first half of the year because then they want me to start growing the business, right, at a certain rate in certain localities. So I know it's June already. I'm actually a little late to the ballgame getting you that letter in May. I'd like to be ahead of the game.
Okay, so you're saying that 23, there won't be an increase, or 24?
There's no increase for 23, there's no increase for 24.
And then the
3%.
next 3 years, it'll be 3% a year?
Correct, and they're all written right out
Right.
on there, it's not
Okay.
even a guessing thing. The only thing that's variable, like I said, is the fuel surcharge, which is gonna be due to you folks. Some of the old agreements were written with them, some without.
Okay.
I can't do that anymore.
So there'll be a fuel charge that comes on and potentially will go off sometime or become less. Okay, I didn't see that. I'll take a look at that.
All good, and then I'll just check in with Laura if I don't hear Thanks so much. I'm gonna run to Watertown. It was nice to meet you.
Take your time.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Discussion possible action to assist Lower Spring Lake Protection and Rehabilitation District with its effort to improve the quality of the lake. Presentation by Debbie Bartolerio. That be you.
That's me. My name's Debbie Bartolario. I moved to Palmyra in 2013, which I know in Palmyra years I'm a newbie. Most people have lived here 20 or 30 years, but just maybe to get a little credibility, both my husband's parents and grandparents owned property on Blue Spring Lake. In fact, my father-in-law was a weed cutter on Blue Spring in the 80s. So, you know, maybe that'll just give me a little bit more of a edge here. I'd like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak with you tonight. I did put together a summary, and I'm not really going to reiterate it. I'm sure you all can read. But the bottom line is that maintaining the condition of the lake has fallen solely on the 50 tax-paying members that live on the lake. We have limited options. Chemical treatment is what we're using, and the weeds are the main problem. Chemical treatment was a preferred method. The DNR has really limited us as to what we can do for chemical treatment. We can do shorelines around the piers in approved areas. It's also expensive. It costs us $5,400 this year to do very limited chemical treatment. The other method to control weeds is to obviously harvest them or have a weed cutter drive around. We just received information that our weed cutting permit is going from $300 for 5 years, which is $60 a year. I'm a banker, so I can do that math. To $2,500 for the first year and $1,750 for every subsequent year. So the costs are increasing. Our budget for just weed harvesting labor was $18,000 this year. Last year we spent $27,000 for different reasons, but we are trying to control that. Another method that potentially could help us in the future is to draw down the lake, which exposes part of the lake bed, lets it freeze, and then it kills the rhizomes, I think, that allow some of the invasive weeds to grow. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get that passed this year. But what I'm here today to ask you, and I'm also going to ask the village, is I think we need to try and establish kind of a partnership between the village, the town, and the Lake District to help manage the quality of the lake. And I do believe that there are an awful lot of people that live in the town that do enjoy the benefits of the lake. I think there are some, I know you have properties that are in the town that live on the lake. If we just, the 50 families cannot continue to foot the bill for all of this, and the option is for us to just dissolve and let the lake turn into a swamp. I've got some pictures. We know what would happen if we stopped harvesting the weeds, because we had an accident with our weed harvester a couple years ago and it tipped. And the pictures will show you after about 6 to 7 weeks, that's what the lake would look like. So, and I don't want to come with threats. I'm just saying that, you know, there's 50 of us, and we are trying to foot the bill for maintaining the quality of the lake, and it is becoming a little bit insurmountable. I'm a volunteer, and so is Jody. She's our secretary. I'm the treasurer, and we take a lot of abuse from some of the Lake District members because they don't like to pay, you know, triple-digit inflation on their taxes. You know, our taxes have gone, our budget has gone from $13,000 up to $39,000 last year. This year we brought it down to 32, but you know, the village contribution has stopped, and we just, the 50 families that are there cannot continue to foot that bill acting alone. So what I'm respectfully asking is that you consider to maybe join the partnership with us and have some kind of annual contribution in helping us maintain the quality of the lake. So anyway, that's it. I thank you for your time, and I will answer any questions, remembering that I'm a newbie, I've only been here since 20.
Can we ask any questions or not?
I don't know.
It's not.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's
I
okay.
should have,
No,
said that.
that's fine.
Okay.
But usually unless we open it up to the public.
Okay.
Are those all the A lots, not the ones that are across the road, or?
We only have A lots, and I'm not certain how you get B lots involved. I was not
B
there.
lots are not involved, correct?
Ours are not.
No.
I would love to have more people helping pay, but I don't know how to accomplish that.
Just if you want to open it up so people can answer questions, I think we can vote to do that, right?
Yes.
So I would make a motion to open it so that everybody can ask questions.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we open the discussion up for questions. Any discussion, all in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
Opposed? No?
so go ahead.
So we're not talking, I know it says Lower Spring Lake, we're talking the lake right here, down here on Anemone Street.
Yes. Yes,
When you
that's
say
what we're,
when you say 54 people, most of them gotta be in the village.
yeah, yes, there's 50 families, most of which are in the village. I believe there's 8 properties in the town. 7 properties in the town, and the remainder are in the village. But yes, they formed the Lake District, and we are a taxing authority, so we have a budget, we submit it to the state, it goes on everyone's taxes, and then we pay for whatever we need to pay for, which is basically keeping the condition of the lake usable.
What was the village doing that they're not doing now, you said?
Well, in the beginning, the village, and this is before my time, but in the beginning, the village was picking up the weeds. They would actually have the truck there, they would pay someone to haul the weeds away. That kind of stopped. They were giving us an annual contribution of $5,000 that was reduced to $4,000. That was then reduced to nothing in 2015. And now, in fact, we pay them $100 so that they maintain the website for us, because we have a little section on their website. So the village's participation in this is basically gone. And I think without going and asking for help, I can't just assume everybody's not going to. So we're making the pitch to the town, we're making the pitch to the village, and I do feel that if we stop doing what we're doing, the lake is going to turn into a marsh.
It'd be terrible.
Yeah, and, I live there, I want it to be nice, but I don't know that we all can continue to pay and keep it up, just with the 50 of us.
Yeah, see, I didn't even know you had a Lake District.
Yes. I didn't either
Well, I
when I
like
moved.
something.
Somehow, I just got sucked in and now I'm the treasurer.
It happens quickly.
It does, yeah, Jody's the secretary.
Don't let your guard down.
Yeah,
I did a little research knowing this was gonna be on the thing, and you guys are really spending a lot of money. A perfect example, and I'm not gonna name names of property owners, but one property owner, our share of the tax, and as everybody knows, the town share of the tax that we all pay is big time. When you look at that wheel, so if somebody and still lake properties are assessed higher just because they have
Yes,
lake
they are.
frontage, I know they are. So one property is paying $719.14 to the town. That's their portion of the town tax. Their portion to the Lake District is $990, and that's what you tax. And
yeah,
then I didn't even write down the village tax on top of that, but it was like $3,000 and something. So we have 7 people on the lake for a total of $4,346 in tax that comes to the town. But we have people in the town that I'm sure use that lake. We give $5,000 a year to the village for the,
Library.
no, not the library, for the
Oh, the Park and Rec.
Park and Rec Fund, assuming that we have people in the town who use the Park and Rec, and we don't know who does. We don't have any kind of a list any more than we have a list of who fishes the lake or boats on the lake or whatever. my suggestion would be that we put our heads together and see if there's anything we can come up with at budget time that we might be able to donate something to the lake. And if you guys can think about it and say, okay, this is a little project, I have no idea how you allocate the money, but could you donate to this particular issue, then I think that's something the town board can certainly consider at budget time.
Okay.
You know, for
And
next year.
I mean, I think my goal is to have this more of, be a partnership where, because we have to submit a budget, I have to submit a PC 505 by November 1st, and I send it to copy to you, and I send it.
Sure.
So, I mean, I'm not, I think we need more of a commitment that we can say, yes, we can count on the town for this, the village for this, the Lake District has to pay this to come up with our total budget. And again, this is my wish list, whether it's possible or not. I'm respectfully asking you to at least consider making that type of commitment, and we'll have more of a partnership in maintaining the lake, because I think if you drive it into Palmyra, that's what you see. You look on the village's website, and I know it's the village, but you know, that's the picture that they have when you come in. If you do internet searches, you see.
They didn't use this one.
They didn't use that one. That's from my deck, by the way. It's not, that is not from the east end, where it's always kind of murky. That's from my deck. So, you know, I do think the lake does add value to the entire community here, so. Anyway, does anybody else have questions, or? No? Okay.
Thank you.
Well, I thank you for your time. I think we should go. We can-
You're free to go. We
Our
have to
meetings
stay.
are really
We have to
exciting.
Well, you
stay,
have
but you don't have to.
Oh, all right. Well, I think I'm gonna go and have a beer. Because I heard you talk about liquor licenses before. Thank you very much.
You may need several before you solve your problem. Okay.
I think, you know, just by way of discussion, I think we should give serious consideration to making the contribution to the Lake Management District. If we need to reduce Park and Rec a little bit, and transfer it over to the lake, I think that would be a good move.
I
Or
think,
if we could find some way to help them. I watched the video of the village board meeting, and one of their issues is getting their weeds hauled away, and they said they don't know how much longer their truck is gonna work to even haul them away, and the village doesn't haul them for them anymore. So maybe we could do a little looking around too and see if we can find somebody that would be willing to do that, as well as give them a financial donation. Maybe we could find somebody to help with it. We've got a lot of farmers around in the town who have trucks and,
it might be an idea to account for what the village is doing with 5,000 they get for Park and Rec, what they have for a program, if they need all that money.
certainly talk about that. I
I don't
mean,
know.
next month we should start looking at budget issues anyway.
Yeah.
Who is the current Park and Rec person?
I don't know.
Billy,
No, he got
He
canned.
hasn't been for years.
They threw
Oh,
him under the bus.
She was at, the Park and Rec director was at, our management district meeting to open up the building for us.
Be on their website.
And she's on their website, good gal, very friendly and so forth. So we can certainly discuss that with her. But there's no question that, Lower Spring Lake is an economic benefit to the village. Perhaps to the town to some degree, but I doubt it, but certainly to the village. It's a valuable resource, and I think we've pretty much agreed we should look at making a contribution, but with some research as to where it's gonna go and how it's gonna be handled. As far as hauling the weeds go, I'll ask Trapper Dick if maybe he can help out. I will just ask,
What do you
because
guys
that's,
do with them?
what's that?
What do you guys do with your weeds?
We have a farmer who accepts our
That's what I
weeds,
thought.
and Trapper hauls them out there, and we give him an honorarium of a couple $100 a year to accept those weeds. But allocating management, Blue Spring Lake Management District equipment to help the village, we did that a couple of
Yeah.
years ago when the harvester turned over,
Yeah.
and we had all the appropriate agreements in place and so forth. Um, I'll see if that's possible.
Well, I thought maybe you guys had somebody commercially that came in and picked the weeds up. No, okay.
I'll take
That
care of it
answers
ourselves.
But there are farmers around who don't compost, and they are beneficial when you.
Well, there's problems with accepting weeds, because you also get trash that's in there,
Yeah.
fishing lines that are in there
Okay.
that wind around their tractor wheels and tear up the bearings and so forth, so
Yeah.
it's
Not as good
not,
as
it's not as easy as you would think.
Okay. Understood.
Okay, discussion and possible action, approve Class B liquor and Class B beer for Rushing Water, Troll Farm, Peter Fritsch.
We've got the application
Yep, I got the application and the fee.
and the fees.
Yep.
I move to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the Class B liquor, Class B beer for Rushing Waters. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Motion carried. Discussion and possible action, approve Class A liquor license for Heidi Hobbies, Heidi Doyster. This is for selling wine. She sells flowers to weddings and those stuff. So,
Again, application and fee.
Yep.
I move to approve.
Second.
been moved and seconded to approve Class A liquor license for Heidi's Hobbies. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. Motion carried. Discussion, possible action, approve Class A liquor license for Circle K Campground at Dion.
Same thing.
Same question.
Yep.
Have the application, have the fee.
Yep.
Move to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve Class A liquor license for Circle K Campground at Dion. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. Motion carried. Discussion, possible action to approve operator licenses for Wendy Roder, Katie Gray, Lynn Ball, Jason Holma, and Abby Riggs.
And so, like I had sent you the information, I looked them up, if I did it right my first time. I didn't really find anything on any of them that was, you know, outstanding. And according to the class that I took on liquor licenses, the trouble they may have been in the past has to be substantially related to liquor
Sure.
for it to be a problem. And there wasn't anything like robbing a liquor store or something like that, so, you know.
Do we have the applications and fees?
No,
for
I've been
all of them?
working with Lynn on that. One of the issues is if we want an attestation where I sit there and watch them sign it,
Yeah.
or if we want to have them notarized. And we don't have to have them notarized, but now it's getting with those people so that I can watch them sign the application.
Okay, so do we wait until that happens to approve it?
I don't know, this is my
We
first
could
time.
approve
so-
it.
I don't think we're gonna depend
Um,
on you.
Right, we
Yep.
could approve it condition on the
The signatures.
notarized signatures, and I would suggest they get it notarized. Why have you?
Well, if
Well, no.
it's easier for her just to.
Well, so.
Whatever's
who do-
easier.
who
I
do
mean,
go
couldn't
to?
they have their signature notarized and then just send it to her?
Yes,
Yes.
they could,
Otherwise, she's gonna have to meet with them.
Or
to
she's
have-
there, if they came in the hours, she's here.
right,
Well, I guess you can ask them if they're gonna come during your hours, or they have to get it notarized.
right. And
So-
I let Lynn know, she seems to be the point person that, what my hours were gonna be this week, and if that didn't work, I could set something up special for them, or come next Tuesday.
Okay, just work it out and
Yep,
So I would move to approve those
operate it.
conditioned on them signing the applications.
And the applications being tested. If you need help with a notary, let me know.
yeah, I got that.
Is there a second? I'll second it. You may. Been moved and seconded to approve the operator license for Wendy Roder, Katie Gray, Lynn Ball, Jason Homa, Abby Riggs, conditional on the paperwork being complete.
Yep,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Discussion possible action for an ordinance for lowering speed limits on town roads.
So, I think what we were talking about doing was lowering it to 15 miles an hour as to Horse Riders Park, which we without, any kind of engineering study or anything like that. That's just a default thing. We don't have an ordinance in front of us, but we can pull one off.
And a separate one for that, and then something
Yes,
else, for okay,
that- They will all be separate.
okay.
But, so, Little Prairie Road past Horseman's Park, and I don't know how many feet either side of the park we have to do. So if we can get the ordinance written up this month, and then maybe approve it at the next board meeting, and meanwhile, we can order the signs. That work?
That works for me. Yeah.
So I think that one would be very, very helpful, and I've had a lot of people kind of complain too, they're trying to pull in and out there with a horse trailer, and people are speeding past, and it's pretty dangerous, so, certainly.
That potentially could be a way to discourage truck
Some of
traffic
that truck
also.
traffic,
We
yeah.
could potentially have the county there.
And I don't know, would it pay, you guys know more about this than I do, if we had a sign maybe farther out on
A warning
Little Prairie
sign.
Road that said, speed reduced ahead, reduced speed zone ahead or something? You think that would
I think
discourage
we
trucks?
have to, when there's more than a 10-mile-an-hour reduction
Speed
in the
ahead or
speed
something.
limit, you have to post reduced speed limit ahead, something to that
Yeah,
effect.
well, maybe that would slow some of the semi-traffic.
Let me check with Tyson on that.
Okay,
I think you have to have that. Usually,
Good.
when you go into any municipality, there's
yeah,
speed limit ahead, 15.
right.
You're gonna check?
I will.
Okay.
And then we talked about lowering the speed limit on Tamarack Road to 35 miles an hour, because we have areas where we have 3 driveways within 150 feet of each other. I think it's 150 feet.
It's 150.
So if we get that ordinance written up, we can pass it at the next meeting. And Hooper Road is the same way, really, if you guys wanted to do it. Boy, there's a lot of driveways.
Is there a
along
municipality, we can get a stamp, we can get it from the Towns Association?
Towns Association
Okay.
sent us this.
What's that?
Well, he said it is, excuse me, the Towns Association has the sample ordinances, but I said,
Oh.
well, Hooper Road is also full of driveways along there. That are certainly close enough if you guys want to lower the speed.
And it's curvy in that one area too
Yeah,
there.
it is.
Wow.
It is.
So you'll need a separate one for each of those roads?
That's my understanding.
Yeah, because they'd all need signage.
Mhm. So, those were the roads that I said. So I guess we need a motion to write these ordinances and then have it at the next meeting?
I would say we'll need a motion to write the ordinances to lower the speed limits on those roads.
I so moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to write an ordinance for lowering speed limits on Tamarack, Hooper, and will it be all of Tamarack?
Think so. I
think
think that's how
so.
you do it.
All of
Yeah.
Tamarack, and then Hooper, all of Hooper, and that portion of Little Prairie Road,
Right,
Correct.
by Horseman's Park.
correct,
Okay, those 3 roads.
correct.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, no, motion carried. Discussion and possible action to submit a petition for Jefferson County road aid.
There's a program for Jefferson County that if local municipalities send in money for road aid, they keep it in an account, and then the next year, they will match it. But you have to do the project with the county, and they don't do just simple road fixes. It's a little bit more
Right.
detailed that they do.
Correct.
Right now, I think we have roughly 16,000 in the account, and then this is the next payment that we would make to be able to use the money next year for something.
How much is this payment?
$3,700, so it'd be another 7,400 at the beginning of the year. And then they said, when you want to get a project for them to work with you on, you need to do it fairly early in the year to get
Right.
on the list,
Okay.
so.
Someone have a motion to send the money
I so moved.
and get it
Second.
matched? Okay. Then moved and seconded to submit a petition for road aid and send in the required amounts of money that they will match. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? No, motion's carried.
the county is generally very competitive when we've put it out for bid in the past
Right.
and so
Well,
forth.
they'll do jobs that bigger companies won't do.
Correct.
also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, it's been
And
moved in.
they meld it into their schedule, so if they're in the area, they do this.
Right,
this,
correct.
this.
They can do it in the area. I'll second your motion.
I think you made.
I did.
Yeah, you made
I
it.
second.
I moved, she seconded.
It had been moved and seconded, and I
And we voted on it.
asked,
We already
and we
voted.
voted on
I
it.
was- I
I
was
thought
discussing after
I
the
thought
fact.
you voted to adjourn, and that's what I was trying to say. I'm done with all the work. I just
Okay.
wanna